Okay, so we are live now. Yeah, so we are live now.
Hello.
Great, great. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. So I'm Jace from Creatives at Work. Welcome to our Facebook live sessions on workshop preview on basic financial planning fundamentals for freelancers. So I'm very happy today, to be joined by two of our guests, Sean as well as Dennis.
Hi.
Dennis.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, so Sean and Dennis is going to be our trainers for our upcoming workshop, focuses on financial planning for freelancers. So as we all slowly resume from our business, I think it's also time, right, for us to actually
Mhm.
review our freelance business strategy going ahead. So if COVID has taught us anything at all, is really anything and everything can change just overnight, right? So one moment you probably are caught up with a lot of project, very busy, but the next, right, you have no idea when is the next project coming. So I think all this kind of up and down in terms of the uncertainty in a freelance career, how can we actually prepare ourselves, right, to cope with situation like this again, right? Hopefully not, right? So with this, we also will be organizing, that's the reason why we'll be organizing a monthly workshop, right, to focus on a range of topics to actually help our freelancers in their freelance journey. So the first workshop is a collaboration with Sean and Dennis, and really very happy that they'll be touching on a very important topic, which is on financial planning fundamentals. So during our discussion, we will also be flashing out a discount code on the screen. So if you manage to catch the discount code, please use the discount code and register for the workshop, and you'll be able to join. So we're doing that.
Like the
Flash
selling, right?
sale.
All the
Yeah,
selling. Flash sale.
yeah, yeah,
It's pay
yeah,
for itself. It's a very good, it's not spending. It's an investment.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will get more out of it, right? That's why we have this preview to share with them more. So okay, without further ado, maybe I will invite Sean as well as Dennis to actually introduce yourself to our audience. So Sean or Dennis, you want to go first? Who want to introduce yourself first?
Sean, you go first.
Sean.
Oh. Okay. Well, I run this page called the Amateur Trader, and it's actually by accident that I ran it. Because what really happened was that primarily I'm a freelancer. That's how I also met Dennis, and that's how I met Jace. Freelance in television and video. So I write, direct, I produce. It's a very common story in Singapore, right? You guys do more than one job within the production scale, and I've been doing that for about 10 years. I'm also lecturing, and then along the way, throughout this entire time, because being a freelancer, you always find that there's always there's long periods, you get very busy months. So in a sense, when the circuit breaker kicked in and they said, hey, you're a non-essential worker, and you can't really work. It's like I've been prepared for that my whole life, because it's like, oh, it's just, of course it's a different scale. I've been really prepared for it to not have any to start to look at other sources of other interests and other sources of income. So, and I found that, and so I started this blog, The Amateur Trader, sometime in January, partly also to separate myself separate myself by putting my stock market blog musings idea different from my professional work. And somewhere along the line, people say, "Hey, you're not that bad at it. You're not that amateur after all. Why don't you tell us you do it a bit more formally?" So I did that. Now I've spent the last few months working on building up enough of a community, and I help people pick the right stocks. I help people do trading. I give signals particularly in the US market on options and stock. And I think so far it's been relatively successful. So,
Yeah.
and I realized that, you don't have, it sounds like it's very difficult. Like you need to be very good at maths. You need to be like really look at charts, and you need to, it's so many numbers, but it doesn't have to be. I found that I have found a system. I'm not saying it's foolproof, but I did find a relatively successful system that allows amateurs and for me to transfer my skills as a media storyteller into the stock market and to relative success. And I think that's what I want to share on Saturday. Next Saturday, of course, not this Saturday. Yeah.
So Dennis, how about yourself? maybe you let them
So,
introduce themselves.
just like Sean, I am also very much in touch with the academic side of things. So I'm actually a lecturer, and I've been teaching for close to 10 years on subjects like advertising, PR, mass comm, internet marketing, what have you. And I also dabble into the media and arts and entertainment scene. So I call myself an actor slash model in a sense. So that's where I met Sean, right? Because Sean is a director, and it's important for actors and directors to talk. But more importantly, I guess as a sort of like a self-employed, right? I also went into some other pursuits. So I actually had my own business, which I sold away this year, thankfully. And I then went into financial planning actually 2 years ago. So I wanted to do that because I felt that I have not been focusing a lot on the proper financial planning. So in the past, I've been listening to my friends, the various schemes and insurance that I should buy, but I didn't really get into the whole scheme of things. So when he invited me to join him, I said, "Oh, why not? I can also do financial planning while I pursue my other interests like my acting and my teaching." It works for me because of the kind of network that I am in as well. So along the way, I learned a lot about how do you do proper financial planning, how do you do retirement planning, what are some of the basic schemes that one should have, and I think it's a lot more important for freelancers right now to look at that because freelancers' income is not very stable, right? Sometimes you earn money, sometimes you don't, and hence it's also important to know how to hedge against possible financial losses or big ticketed items to come, for example, the medical costs or hospitalization, for example. So there are certain things that are fundamental in terms of financial planning. And I wish that, during the training, I can highlight to some of you what are some must-have schemes, and then how then can we actually hack on CPF, right, to put it to our advantage. For example, how can we actually tap on it, for our retirement planning and maybe to a certain extent Medisave as well. So to clear some of the doubts that people might have with regards to insurance and financial planning from a self-employed standpoint, and also a financial planner who is actually practicing it right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sean and Dennis, for the introductions. So for our audiences, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it on the comment section below. So we will get round to answer them in due course. But first, maybe my first question would be, I think Dennis talked a bit about, financial management is important for freelancers. So being a freelancers yourself, right, both of you all start off as a freelancers, how do you then, go about picking up the financial management skills in the first place, right? How do you, what get you started on this journey to actually make an effort, right, to actually kickstart your whole financial planning journey in that sense. Sean, you want to
Okay,
share?
Dennis is more qualified than me. He's actually a legit financial planner. I'm just someone who goes on and goes like, oh
You're
yeah,
the
yeah,
amateur traders. Yeah, you're amateur
I'm very
traders.
amateur. Yeah. I like the professional and the license, the MAS license man tell us about it. Yeah.
So that
I
is what get you started to
actually,
actually.
I don't know. When I was younger, I actually read this book called The Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I believe you read that as well.
Yeah.
So that actually inspired me to know more about the different mode of earning money, and I believe that everyone started off with just being an employee mode, and I think I talked to you before with that as well, and that's why you started your own business, and then I started my own business, and there's actually several quadrants. So we need to understand, the various ways in which we can earn money and what does money actually mean to us. All right. And once we are able to earn money, and then we need to know how to spend it. Right. So the knowing how to spend is important because there are some fundamental rules with which, you need to spend. And also, I guess, along the way, as I grew older, I know that, saving up is important. I know the difference between assets and liabilities. Even though I actually bought a car when I was a lot younger, which I know for a fact that it's a liability. And then I actually started to save up more to get a house, which is more an asset. So such things are quite important. And a lot of young people, they don't understand that. They think that, I need to have a credit card and I need to have credit in a sense that I can buy things and stretch. And if you are not able to manage your credit well, and then the interest just start rolling, then you realize that you are in deep trouble. So I guess some things are quite logical in terms of financial planning, which is more like your normal human instinct. But once I entered into the real financial world, when I actually studied for all the papers, then I realized there are actually some fundamentals and concepts that one should follow in order for one to be rich.
Right, right. But Sean, I think
Yeah.
I think for Dennis actually took out a very formalized route to
Mm-hmm.
learn about
Mm-hmm.
financial planning, and the strategies and all this. But I think what I'm also quite interested to hear from you is also as an amateur, right? I mean, you call yourself the amateur trader. So
Yeah, I'm not
um
qualified, so yes.
no, but
Same, same,
how
same.
do you even learn how to do it in the first place? Like, how
Okay,
do you even get it started?
I think that there's a few things. Well, first, my motivation to get started was actually a lot simpler because I mean, like Dennis, I'm a freelancer, but it wasn't as complex as knowing what's an asset and liability, and it was just thinking how do I beat the bank interest rate? How do I beat the CPF 3% interest rate when I don't have any CPF? So I started to think,
Mm,
okay, I'm going to put my money to work. That was
mm,
how I actually started looking at because I believe that if you put money into a bank or into your FD account, then it's quite lazy. I mean, it's lazy money. And if you work hard for your money, you should get your money to work for you, right? So that was that's what motivated me. Of course, if I was a lot more formal, one day I'll get to be a lot more formal like Dennis. And so so how did I get started? I realized that looking at the market, the stock markets, in particular the US markets, because you find in particular, it tells you a lot really about what's going on around us in the world. Even though you may not have the money, you may not have an interest in money, or you may not be living in the US alone, but because it's the biggest global economy in the world, right? And I think the stories that it tells, especially from current affairs and all that, was actually what got me interested. Because if I find myself interacting with a lot of things, I think apply to everyone as well. You find yourself interacting with many brands like Starbucks, for example, or McDonald's or Coca-Cola and all that, and then you start looking at the market and you look at the price that it is. And then you're thinking, hey, if I'm actually interacting with it, and I'm actually putting, giving them business. Of course, you're not giving them a lot of business. I mean, you're only one person. Why are you? How can I actually get involved in it? How can I actually own the company? Because that is a big misconception I find with regards to stock markets, that people say, hey, look, stock markets, let's buy the market. You can't buy the market. You are buying a company. You're buying. It's the same thing. It's like you own a small portion of the company. You're not buying the stock market. So that was what got me. That kind of got me interested in it. And then of course, I also because I lost a bet. It was quite silly, and it's really, really, really can be very. It sounds really, really silly, but I actually said to a friend, okay, if Manchester United wins and helps Liverpool, qualify for Champions League, I'm going to buy Manchester United stock. And then it sure enough doesn't happen, and I had to honor my words. I said, okay, fine, I'll buy Manchester United stocks and have ownership in it. And it's quite accidental actually. So that's why I'm an amateur. You see, I didn't go through the license like Dennis and yeah. But hey, I'm not
yeah,
bad actually. I'm quite good at
yeah.
this.
And how long have you been doing that already? So how long have you
I bought my
been?
first stock when I was 19. So I've
Oh,
been. I
okay.
mean, of course, that is as a stock in the US. I've been buying it for about. I've been I've been buying stocks in the US market for about 2 years, and then my trading with other people. I got a small group that trades with me, and they come to me and they ask me to trade with them, and they give me a little bit of a subscription that's been going on since the circuit breaker started. And I think they are. I haven't had. I mean, I haven't had any complaints. I think they're quite happy with their returns. They come to me and go like, "Hey, you doubled my money in 3 days." I'm like, "Yeah, the power options, man."
Do you get any commission from it?
Do I? I will show you. I'll tell you about it on Saturday. I will offer it to people. That you have to tune in on Saturday or next Saturday to find out. But yeah, I do. I mean, of course, nothing is. Everything comes with risk. Everything comes with risk, and nothing is for free as well, as we've learned. As with many things in life. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Okay, so as a freelancers, because both of you also, are freelancers in that sense, started, or rather are really freelancers, right? So in that sense, right, we hear a lot about people saying, oh, as a freelancers, you need to have 6 months of emergency funding, things
Mm.
like that. So, in your point of view, now that other than being a freelancer yourself, you also has embarked on this financial planning management type of journey. So, is that in your view, right? Is 6 months saving enough, right? And also, if let's say I'm a freelancer and I don't have 6 months. Of reserve, right? Then how do I actually build up my emergency fund from there?
I would say that 6 months. I will agree with you to a certain extent on 6 months,
Mm,
but it's no longer the case for me anymore. It changed when I had two kids, for one,
mm,
and I thought that I started to think, okay, I need more than 6 months. I need to think, 10 years, 20 years, and that's when I really started to place emphasis on making your money work for you and getting diversification. Not, I mean, of course, I love what I do. I love making, I love working in media. I love doing TV, but got to think as well about sustainable in the long term. And
mm,
best is if you have diversified streams of income. So I am an advocate for that.
mm,
And I would say 6 months is enough. I mean, it depends on your lifestyle, really. That's the short, simple answer to your question. Is 6 months enough? It depends on your lifestyle and your dependence and your needs, and and who's relying on you. But
mm.
yeah, I'll leave it to
Yeah,
Dennis.
that is a
Yeah,
perfect
Dennis.
answer.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the perfect answer. See, I'm not an amateur at all.
Yeah, I'm
Dennis.
taking on the lecturer role.
Yeah.
So you're right, because 6 months is definitely the basic number of months that we should have in terms of reserves. But according to a recent OCBC survey, actually a lot of the younger Singaporeans, they don't have more than 6 months. That is actually the truth right now, right, with COVID-19, because they see that that is actually coming their way, and that they realize that if they are not able to earn money right down the road,
Mm,
especially if it's freelancers, then it's going to be a dire situation. So again, as what Sean has pointed out, it's also dependent on your lifestyle, right? So let's say if you actually spend 2K per month, then you need to know, down the line, all right,
mm,
with 6 months, that's around 12K, without any incoming income, and then whether you can sustain, right, without any kind of income coming. And of course, you need to also look at your liabilities and your obligations, right? Maybe some
mm,
would have to pay for your housing loan, your car loan, and some other emergency funds that might come your way as well. You never know,
mm,
right? So it's
mm,
always better to be prepared than to have to then count on credit, or even loans to supplement your upcoming costs. Again, it
mm,
is very much based on your lifestyle, right? Whether you're a single person or whether you're married. Are you married with kids, or whether you have your parents to take care and your kids to take care? You're the sandwich generation. And that's a lot more tougher if you are a freelancer.
mm,
But of course, if you are single and then you have not much of obligation, then I think uh, 3 to 4 months is still good enough. Right? But I
mm.
think by and large, 6 months is a good number, I would say.
Mm, mm. So we have one question from Lydia, comment coming in, right? So
Oh, I
I think
see.
based
Okay.
on what Sean has actually earlier mentioned, right, that because the workshop will also covered a little bit about the stock market and things like that. So is it risky for freelancers to be investing in the stock market when they have an unstable income? And how will a freelancer know if they
I think
should
it's
or should
risky.
not be investing in the stock market?
Of course, you're the financial. Okay.
I feel
I.
risky.
uh, That's a very good question, and I think is also, in order to answer this question, you first have to understand that you are not investing in the stock market,
Mm,
Lydia. Yes, I mean everybody. I mean, it's everyone says yeah, invest in the stock market, but the reality is you're actually investing in that company. You can't buy the stock market. Okay, that's just be very good. Unless you buy, let's say, the ETF, you can buy the STI, or you can buy the S&P, you can buy VIX if you want to buy volatility. You can buy a KWEB if you want to buy the basket of Chinese stocks, tech stocks in the US. But the reality is that you cannot buy a stock market. Okay, that's the first thing you need to. That's the first misconception you need to clear. You cannot, and the economy is not the stock market as well. Okay, and that is one of the reasons why, if you look around us today and you look at, today they just said SIA only flew 13,000 people, down from the billions they used to fly. But then, and I think it's the same around that whole whole world, right? No airlines are not doing well, but yet their stock prices are going up. Like, why? There's a disconnect. So that's the first thing you need to remember. You are not buying the stock market. What you are really buying is a company. And if you get that into your head that you are buying a company, right? And you believe in this company for whatever reason, you love it. Maybe the fundamentals are good. You interact with it a lot. You think that it's got a lot of potential. That is the first. Then that already resets the whole mindset. Then you will realize that, okay, maybe it is more possible to be investing in it. The second thing you have to remember as well, and I would probably be showing you certain criteria next week, is that buying a stock and going long, Warren Buffett style, Peter Lim style, or those Jeff Bezos style, right? It's not the only way. There, of course, and it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It works for them of course, because they own so much, they buy so many stocks to hold forever until they become board members. But you have to keep being nimble. Let's say, especially since you are having an unstable income. But having said that, the stock market could also become a stable income for you if you play it right. So yeah, I mean, if you do, but of course, taking the first step is always the most challenging part. And hopefully, maybe after next Saturdays, when I talk about, how you assess what is a good, how you assess. I'm not telling you what stock to buy, of course. I'm just showing you how you can assess, what criteria you can use to assess certain companies' stock and whether it's a good idea or to help you make a decision to get in it or not.
So at this point in time, maybe Dennis and Sean, you can share with us a bit, like, what will the workshop cover, and what are some of the key takeaways that you hope that the participants will be able to get from attending the fundamental workshop like this.
Maybe for me, it'll be a bit more clear cut. I guess I'll be talking from a standpoint of a freelancer. What are some must-have in terms of the kind of financial planning that you should be looking at? Because I think a lot of people still have a lot of myths with regards to insurance and financial planning. And I used to have that as well, because I go and buy whatever life policy and then I forget about it. So I think it's a good refresher, right, for a lot of freelancers, because this is the best time to take stock of what you have, right? Whether it's your retirement saver, or whether it's your life insurance or medical. And also I'll be touching on the change in critical illness definition, because there is a change right now as we speak, and that also there are some changes with the CPF usage and how we could potentially hack CPF to our advantage. So these are just some basic financial stuff. I won't be going too much in depth, right, like what Sean could possibly go, but I guess I'm looking at more about just some basic financial must-haves, and also some knowledge that a freelancer should have moving ahead, right? Now that we are in this COVID-19 situation, it is a lot more important that we know how to use our money, we know how to invest, and we know how to actually make money grow more money, in that sense, right? With regards to stock as well, right? We do have some kind of financial triangle as well. It's somewhat like a Maslow hierarchy of needs, where we just have to make sure that we serve our basic financial needs, and then we go on to the second level, and then actually the stock, right, which is your investment, is actually at the top. It's only when you realize that all of these are taken care of, and you have the additional income to invest in stocks. So these are just some fundamental financial planning concepts, which I'll be touching on.
Right. Sean, how about on your portions?
Before that, I just want to, can I just pick up Benji's question?
Sure, of course.
Okay, Benji says, I just realized this is a very interesting question. Okay, Benji, I don't know if I met you, but to answer your question, I'm more of a director. I'll say that for two reasons. For three reasons. Number one, I've been doing about 10 years. I don't plan to stop anytime soon. Number two, as you can see, I'm an amateur trader, so I'm not going to go and kid myself and say that I'm very professional and I'm very big time. So I don't only trade. I also keep stock that I intend to hold as my core positions for a while. So it's a bit of a mix as well. I identify myself more as a director, of course, because it's through the skills that I picked up as a directing that I transferred over to aim to do application to looking at a stock market. And to answer your next question is, does the stock market take up effort and time? It does take up effort and time. But I would also, my disclaimer, I mean, as since I'm an amateur, I'm not professional, and also the system that I've created is such that I only need to look at it. Of course, this came through trial and error as well, but I only spend half an hour a day in total. The first 10 minutes, in 3 10-minute blocks, I can tell you how the market's going to be like, and I'm quite accurate in that. So no, to answer your question, you don't have to sit in front of a screen and look at it for 8 hours and dare not move from your chair. Yes.
You have another part-time job that you never really disclosed.
I do have another part-time job.
Yeah, I know what.
A lecturer as well.
But you know what my full-time job is, Dennis? My full-time job is to my 2 babies. That's my full-time job, my 2 babies. When they tell me to drop everything and just drive them, that's it. Everything stops.
I know that you have a third part-time job.
Yes, a lot.
I've got 3 part-time jobs and 1 full-time job, right? And so I basically don't sleep. So that's also your answer to your question, Benji. I don't sleep, so that takes up. I've got so much time. I've got the full day, 24 hours.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, you're back to the question. What was it, Chase?
What will you be covering?
No. So yeah. Okay. What will you be covering? But maybe before that, right? Because I'm quite conscious of the time because I know Dennis need to leave. But I was just thinking, right? Maybe there's actually one question that is addressed to both Dennis and Sean actually. So from Justin. So he is actually asking in the magnitudes of stocks, bonds, futures, I mean so many in that sense financial instruments, right? So which will you recommend for freelancers with unstable income?
That also ties you back to my earlier question, Jace, because you said what will I be talking about on Friday?
Yeah.
Next Saturday, sorry.
This is what you will be talking about.
Okay, when I say Saturday, disclaimer, I mean next Saturday. Don't tune in this Saturday and wonder where is Dennis and where is Sean. Next Saturday, I mean next Saturday. I will be. You can get. Yeah, you attend next Saturday. That's what we're talking about. I'm going to break down how you can exactly do this. How you recommend? How do you identify a stock or especially a stock? For when you have a very limited budget, because what I think is a very big misconception as well, that you need to be rich to be in the stock to actually buy stocks. Yes, it doesn't have to be. If I told you now that if for like $2,000 I can get you a decent portfolio with some and get you some upside within 6 weeks. I will tell you how that can be done next Saturday, and it has been done. I've done that already for some of the guys who are trading with me. And also, so I would be going through maybe like criteria, maybe on how you can make this sort of assessment. But I'm not going to tell you by ABC. I'm just going to give you the criteria, and that's what we're talking about on Friday. On Saturday. On Saturday, yeah. Thanks, Dennis. So yeah, that is why. So my answer to you, Justin, is that's why you should attend next Saturday. Dennis, yes.
Yeah, sure. So Dennis, I mean, with regards to this, right? So Sean is covering like the different financial instruments and all this, right? Then for your portion, actually just now you also mentioned insurance, CPF, and all this. So would you actually say that the method that, or rather the way that you are sharing probably is a more conservative side of investment, and then where Sean is actually covering the more risky type of. Okay.
Yes, it will be, because actually what Justin brought out, right? When you talk about bonds, actually in insurance there are also investment, right? That is more like a unit trust kind of investment, which you can use CPF, which is the ordinary account or the special account, or even cash. You can use that to invest, and all these like bonds actually have got a safer risk appetite as compared to shares, because shares is very volatile. Yeah, so you can actually, it depends on what kind of risk appetite you have, whether you're risk adverse or you're very adventurous. But if you are more risk adverse, then perhaps the insurance, what we call bonds or unit trust, are also possible option as well.
Right. Right. So I thought another question that maybe we can actually help to answer is also I think one of the comment was that how about for students? I think this is actually in relations to the emergency funds and the investment strategies, right? So for students, especially if they have no money at the beginning, right? So if they want to start their freelance career, then how right? How do they you know
I deal with students a lot, right? For
yeah.
students, I would tell them to go and invest on themselves. It is really
Mm,
important at their age to invest on themselves with the relevant skills and expertise or knowledge, because now a lot of them, when they are enrolled into like diploma or degrees, they would only
Mm-hmm.
learn their fundamental skills. But after a while, then they realize that after they graduate, they realize that there are certain skills that they lack. So
mm,
I feel that if you want to be an all-rounder, or that you want to be equipped with several different skills, and that you can be like a freelancer, or you have multitude of different skills in the near future, now is the best time to invest, right? So just go for courses. If you are from the business side of things, then you go for a technical side of things. If you are more like a
mm,
technical person, then go into for a business course. And actually, what is a must-have course right now is totally to equip yourself with social media marketing skills, because this is what is important and what employers will actually look at in the near future. We're talking about the new normal right now, right?
mm,
The fundamental skill that all employers will need from you right now
Mm-hmm.
is social media marketing, which means to say we are talking about whether you know how to manage a simple fan page and doing a Facebook
mm,
Live like this.
mm,
So, so,
mm.
So I
so
would
that's
say
something Dennis and I will
invest in
teach you.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis and I can teach you that next month. So if you call us back, please. We both teach that like formally in the school. But okay, and I think also to get to, for me, my answer to Yen Ling's question, how about for students if you don't have money at the beginning? I would say that I would say do not. I mean, I guess what she means is I'm going to be very literal and talk about the do not have money at the beginning part.
Mm,
I think that it's very, you need to be very clear. You must not ever use more money than you are prepared to
mm,
lose, because or you must never sabo yourself. In other words, if you really don't have money at the beginning, then don't overcommit yourself lah. So I would say it boils down to really prioritizing and your budgeting as well.
Mm.
mm,
For sure. But it doesn't mean that you have to be all out, because all in and all out, all in and all out are bad strategies. They're not strategies. That it's just stupid. but yeah. So I would not let not having money at the beginning, if you're, especially if you're a student, deter you. But I would also say, please don't sabo yourself.
mm.
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah, yeah. So for our audiences out there, if you want to hear more, right, about the different strategies, understanding really the fundamental, right? We have actually pasted the link below, right? So just need to sign up, and it's actually on 25th of July, just in case, because Sean keeps saying next Saturday, so it's the following Saturday,
See, the
25th of
discount code
July.
is actually
Yeah,
money. Wow,
yeah.
such a good.
Yes, that's right.
It's
And
so
then,
literal, isn't
the
it?
discount code
We
is
should
Yeah,
all
here.
like start playing ABBA now or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
think we can also talk about the ways of earning money.
mm,
Lah. I guess,
mm,
nowadays it's important to earn passive income, right?
yeah.
And I think there's also a lot more people who are looking at a possible second income generator. If you are a full-time employee, how
Mm,
can you actually generate a second stream of income? I think
mm,
sometimes it's really got to do with your mindset. How do you start, right? Because you never say never. And I think with current situation right now, it is also important that everyone explore the possibility of earning a second income from a second source, and
mm,
maybe from a potential different expertise that you might have as compared to now. Yeah.
mm,
It's not just. I think it's also because we're all freelancers, right? Primarily, I guess majority of people watching are freelancers, and we never really know. I mean, we really and even if we're not
Right.
freelancers, majority of the jobs out there are also contract positions. They give you like
Yeah.
9 months,
Yeah.
1 year, 2 years. So you really have to start thinking what happens. It's like you're playing musical chairs all the time. You're going from job to job on musical chairs. But when the music stops, somebody has to lose. Somebody doesn't get a chair and they lose. And if that happens to be you, that's not a very good position to be in.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah.
and so definitely, I think it's very important to know that these things, that if
And,
ever
and
the music
also
stops,
and also the
then what
strategies to
happens?
keep your contract work, in tech often, how do they want to come, ask you to go back to teach, all the time, just like ourselves, we are freelancers because we are part-time lecturers. We need to do our part as well. We need to engage our students. We need to get high ratings. We need to be asked to go back. It doesn't come that easy. It doesn't mean that today we have a chance to teach, right? The next semester they'll call us back, right? There's a lot of aspect to holding on to your freelance work as well, right? And these are all, strategies.
So I think the point being is it's not just oh look, we are in a COVID-19 pandemic, or we are phase 1, phase 2, we went through circuit breakers, we are essential, non-essential workers, we've had a dip in work. It's nothing to do with that. I think in general these are important things to know. In the old normal, the new or in the old normal before the pandemic started, or even in the new normal after the pandemic, I think it's even more valuable. But it's always been valuable. It's always been important. It's completely important and relevant skill to have.
Right. So okay. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So my last question. So what are some of your advice, right, to freelancers who are still navigating the current pandemic, in terms of their financial management wise? What would be that one advice that you will leave for them?
Jace, to be honest, I have actually suffered a loss when I sold my business, right? But thankful I sold as well. I sold it in Jan this year. I was managing a foot massage business, and I closed off my Serangoon Gardens branch, right, in November last year. And that this year I just something dawned on me that I need to sell, and that I managed to escape the situation. But somehow, there is a bit of losses, like, in that sense. And of course, in current times, right, I guess one of the main thing to note is really to reorientate yourself, right? I guess often we tell ourselves that, oh, okay, this is a new normal, or that this is a pandemic, and that we are all caught. But you never know that with all this new situation also come new opportunities and possibilities as well, right? We look at how some of the all these online presenters are selling stuff online. The new normal of going online to sell things. We saw a lot of people who actually step up to do different things during this period. So I believe in always changing and innovating, and finding a new way of earning money. That's one. And also to tell yourself that you shouldn't be caught in a situation, right? And that you have to quickly just get out. I think it's really about that willingness to always be different, right? And I think to have a mindset of the fact that you can do many things. You're not just born to do one thing. You can actually explore different aspects of your life, and that is something that I always want to tell my students, or even my friends. But some of my friends don't believe in that. But I always say that you can do different things. For the matter of fact, I'm an actor. I'm also a financial planner. I'm also a lecturer. Sean himself is a director. He's in the trading. We talk about business, and that he's also lecturing as well. So just don't think that you are only cut off for something. Even if you think that you're an actor, I just only want to act. No, you can do other things as well. That is the mindset that we should all have.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah.
specifically for the pandemic though, I think, since you're asking, there are two things the two takeaways I would just share with everyone. Is the first thing is you need to remember is that the end of the world only comes once. So I think if you think that this is bad, it only comes once. It's not going to it's transient. There will be an end to it. I don't know when. I'm not going to put any money down to say when, but or make a bet with you. But just remember that the end of the world only comes once. And the second thing you have to remember is that let's just assume, let's just be pessimistic, okay, and say that okay, we are going to go into another circuit breaker again. We are going to get a second wave or third wave of this ridiculous pandemic. But again, remember we have done this before. What I mean by we've done this is before is that we've already been through one round of a circuit breaker. We've gone through one phase. Think of all the information that people have now, or whatever, not just in terms of how you live, but all the medical knowledge, all the logistics and all that to really come and handle this together. So we've been through this before. I honestly think that we are, even if the situation gets really, really bad, it's not going to be as bad as it was as we knew it earlier in the year, around March. And so that's how I would tell people, how do you handle this pandemic and the new normal? I say, just remember, we've done this before, and we got through it. We can get through it again.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. So for the audiences out there, if you want to hear more from Dennis and Sean, sign up for our workshop. Right. Okay. We have come to the end of the session. Thank you very much
Thank
for all your
you.
sharing. Right. And of course, the audiences, thank you so much for sharing with us. So I hope you find the session useful. We'll wrap up now. Right. But do remember to join us for the Basic Financial Planning Fundamentals for Freelancers workshop on the 25th July at 11 a.m. Sign out on the link below. Right. And I hope you all managed to catch our discount code. Right. So with this, I wish all of you all a good evening.
Money.
Right. Yeah. And I wish you all the best. Hope to see you all
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye.
I am the
Bye.
amateur trader. Bye.
I'm Dennis Toh. Bye.
I'm Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Sean.
Okay. And I think Wendy is somewhere around watching you, Dennis.
Wendy?
Yeah, bye.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Sure. I don't think so.